growing up, yeah. This is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wants, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they ain't never had one day. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change. For the nerd.
What's going on, everybody? How are we doing out there tonight? It is right around a little after 9:30. It is the 2nd of January, 2026. I'm Alex. Hello, hello, wherever you are watching from. YouTube X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. If you are not a subscriber or follower yet, please make sure you go and get on that, because it's not nice if you at least, you can lurk. You don't have to say anything. You could just hang out, but at least go subscribe. That would be very nice. And also, make sure that you go follow us everywhere on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. Now, last night, we hung out, talked a little bit, and right before I went on the stream yesterday, David decided that he wanted to share a video with me. Now, at that time, I wasn't ready. And as I do with all of David's videos, I don't pre-screen any of them. So I am going to jump in and watch this. And this is basically a nomination for iDubbbz winning LOLCow of the Year. And I went ahead and I gave him the award in the description. He is the LOLCow of the Year. And we are going to watch it. It's basically a clip video from Bulgarian Lives Matter. And we are going to watch it. And we're going to react to the awesomeness that was iDubbbz of this year. So let's get right into that. Let's go. Let's get messy. Let's have some fun. And let's react to that man in the Black Panther shirt, because, he's dope and all, right? Let's see it. Right about 10 minutes. Let's have some fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Legit Food Review. Today I have with me my good friend
Ethan Klein from H3H3 Productions.
We're friends again. Pretty sure that's a new Tuckerberry
Is
chicken.
Tuckerberry?
Tuckerberry.
Oh, yeah,
It's not
that's
a Tuckerberry.
It didn't sound like a Tuckerberry.
Yay!
iDubbbz CB, we gonna bake another cake today, man.
Do you know much of Chris Chan?
Jesus, already, just from the jump, I am having secondhand embarrassment for this guy. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I know a little bit about Chris Chan. I love my girlfriend, and I'm totally fine with dudes jacking off to pic.
Like, totally fine a dude jacking off the pictures of her, and when he's looking like that, like, really, really honestly, like, I know what I look like in the man bun, right? Like, I am very aware that the man bun does not make my masculinity shine. Do you think people that rock the stash and the beanie with those type of glasses, do you think he knows that he's doing the hipster hobo look? Like, I don't know if people like him are aware enough to know that.
Pictures of her on the internet. Fuck my wife. I'm sort of a cuckold man myself.
If you're gonna do any cuck jokes on the show, I want to keep those to a minimum.
iDubbbz? It's a simp?
Are you gonna punk me?
You're getting punked.
Really?
Joey, can you open up the iDubbbz gaslighting document?
I'm gonna make you look like an asshole.
Really?
He said, usually I'm the puppet man.
For those that don't know, we've looked at it before, but iDubbbz tried to do one of his famous videos with Sam Hyde, trying to get him to kind of look like a fool for his documentary, and Sam Hyde turned it around on him, and here is him handling that beautifully.
Master in these situations.
They married in June, with iDubbbz's last name changed from Washburn to Joma. He is deeply in pain.
Second website. Kick.
Again, you changed your last name for the girl. Like, I'm sorry, that is one of the least masculine things you can do.
Jessica Negri. Anissa. 3, 2, 1. OnlyFans. Oh.
Dr.
That I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
You know, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
Creator Clash is probably the single best thing that I've ever done in my life.
Pretty anti-capitalist. I hate language.
So funny too, because like Creator Clash was actually a really cool idea. It was a good idea. It was a fun idea. iDubbbz did a great job with it in the first time. And then Anissa comes in and you hear this bitch. I'm pretty anti-capitalist.
Landlords. What really made me mad about boxing events in the past is that it's rich assholes betting their money to make money.
We were also promised a bonus on CC1 and we never got it.
I can't even think about doing a Creator Clash 3. Creator Clash is back. There's no money for charity.
I just want to ask him if you've always been
Pants swastika boy.
We want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to pile on and add to anything.
We don't condone harassment of any kind.
Condone harassment of any kind.
And those little clips in there are of when he went on with Hassan Piker, who is the resident douchebag of the internet, and made a whole entire thing about Ethan Klein. And we don't condone harassment, and that's all they did there.
I'm not going to give you our thoughts on the H3 content nuke. If we let any of that enter our fucking lives, we'd kill ourselves.
Oh no!
Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship. I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability, empathy. You caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was,
I mean, it's so crazy just to watch all this. And from someone like me who didn't know anything about iDubbbz before this, and now going through the video we went through to see the trials and tribulations of iDubbbz, like, oh, it's you have secondhand embarrassment for him.
for collaborating with Sam Hyde. This is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. I just need to sometimes dump a little bit, and not having that and just being like, all right, I'll dump, I think is like that's like a satisfying thing for me. If I had to take any Content Cop video back, it would be the Fine Bros one. For me, I felt like I was very much jumping on the trend of like shit on these two Jews. Yeah.
But it's like that was, and that's when he was funny. That's when iDubbbz was at his best, when he was doing the Content Cop stuff. And now he's just a corny little wiener.
And make fun of their fucking faces and how much money they want and how greedy they are and that sort of shit. You are doing the classic rich asshole thing.
You know what's funny? I genuinely think that Sam Hyde broke Ian.
Yes,
It's really hard to be a couple online.
You were triggered by this CPS.
It's, I want to replace that for him. It's really hard to be a couple online. No, it's really hard to be a cuckold online, because that is what he is, an online cuck.
Harassment thing, people are quite reasonably concerned. They're calling it the poop house. Don't worry, Ela. I'm not going to blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders. Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash. Today, I'm going to be doing the thing that everyone tells you not to do, and that is feed the trolls. In this video, he is bullying Anissa. And in other videos, he's literally bullied and made fun of her dad who has Alzheimer's. I'm perfectly fine with bullying. Want to know
I
it?
want to know what it is. It's
Alzheimer's moment.
Anissa's family hits me up. I've been hit up by her family members talking shit about her. One of your own.
I mean, Bulgarian Lies Matter, I give you props, because the amount of time that it took for you to jump in here and clip all these about iDubbbz is truly impressive. For those, if anyone's just joining, we are watching clips of why iDubbbz is the LOLCow of the year, and it's fantastic.
Fucking family members hit me up and said you don't care that much about your father, and that your father, you have like a strained relationship or something, and that you don't care about Alzheimer's.
And here we have iDubbbz with the bull, folks. There's iDubbbz with the bull.
What are we doing?
He's doing a joke, dude.
Okay, he's doing a joke. Can you maybe just say that it's fucking gross and uncalled for and is weird?
It's so funny too, because the guy that did Content Cop, the guy that was there and poking fun at all this stuff to just making fun of them and calling them out. And it wasn't for censorship, but just to make it funny, is now the one being like, just call it gross. It's not nice. Ugh.
I think my only stipulation with the bullying is that you also have to not be a pussy. I am quiet, stoic.
We had to have a meeting. How ridiculous is that?
iDubbbz is being stoic
Men
here.
are
Therefore,
supposed to have
he's in hell.
emotions.
You know me. I'm the master stoic. They love the concept of like labeling someone a LOLCow.
An army of anonymous Redditors telling you you're brilliant. But at the end of the night, and you look yourself in the mirror, you're not.
This has to be like, number one, the way he's sitting, right? Like, I'm not like a posture expert, but as a dude, you don't sit like that. That's not the way you sit unless you've been emasculated. Like, that is an emasculating stance to sit there. And just that image right there, just him behind Hassan. When you're throwing in with Hassan Piker, you're at the lowest of the low, man. The lowest.
Not going to recognize who you've become. Turning into a LOLCow of a different variety. That's what I think.
That's so mean.
Truth. The second quote is not actually from.
Oh, he's doing it!
The water is right there.
Doing it! He's just Hassan's water boy.
Yep.
Bad empanada in my Discord says, tell iDubbbz to get off the cuck chair and pick up the sword. Do it.
Simple Ian had no fucking answer, buddy.
He is the butt of everyone's joke. Like, even Hassan has no friends, okay? Hassan only has people he can use. And he's been using iDubbbz, and it's absolutely there.
Incoming.
And the problem is, Anissa, that when you see this watch, get that, bro!
They're chairless! They can't even afford chairs!
Why is it upside down? Oh no.
Ban them and block them. When we have people who are on fucking kiwi farms and shit, the primes do not contribute to the sub goal.
That I'm plateless. I have no plate.
So he would smell so bad that when he comes back in the afternoon to train, he doesn't shower in between his sessions.
She definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment.
It's like,
that's so funny. The tea that is spilled like that. He smells like shit, and then Anissa wants the crush. That's fucking hilarious.
shooting a big Godzilla and the Godzilla doing nothing.
He was crying at the gym, then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid.
She told me that the reason why we moved away from LA was because she had all these friends that wanted to use Ian and just take from him.
Oh my
And,
God,
yeah.
she is so doing textbook isolating him.
She had always told us, one of the reasons that she told me that people hate on Ian was because she had done a porn with Mia Khalifa in a hijab.
Sounds really pathetic.
Wait, what? Caveat, what's going on, brother? How are you, Rollin? She did a porn with Mia Khalifa in a hijab? I didn't know that. That's next level. It's fucking gross, man. That's gross. Ugh.
At the age of 32, I've acquired empathy. This stupid fucking loser.
Also, empathy's not a real thing, guys. I don't think we need to. Empathy's not a real thing. There's sympathy. You can feel bad for somebody's situation and understand that it's bad, but empathy's fake. You cannot actually put yourself in somebody else's shoes if you haven't experienced something like that already. So you can't empathize with people. She didn't. That's a lie. Okay, thank you. Still fucking gross. You know what? I could see Anissa doing that. It's disgusting.
And his dumb as rocks wife.
Yeah, they ignored us when we were like trying to fight child marriage. But then when they found out,
Are they pro child marriage?
Like, fuck these crooked people. I just like can't help myself but like feel for other people's pain and suffering.
She straight up lied to them for no reason. I think someone like an Anissa will think that because she has an OnlyFans, lying about being a whore and actually like being in a real porn is something that she would take pride in, because it's like, oh, I made it. I'm not just OnlyFans anymore. I'm with Mia Khalifa. I could see that happening. And caveat ties, doing great. Wife's out of town and kids are at a youth group party, home alone. Those are the best times, Wallen, honestly. I love my family, love my kids, but sometimes that peace and tranquility of just hanging out and doing whatever the fuck I want are good. It's good. Everyone needs a reset sometimes, right? The wife is out of town doing her thing. Kids are doing their thing. It's nice. You get away, you come back, everyone's happy. And don't say hi to David. Don't say hi. David sucks. Okay, let's keep going.
Now, empathy, you don't direct it at everything. There's a lot of people who aren't very empathetic to the Charlie Kirk situation. But there are reasons why they aren't feeling a certain way, why they aren't feeling empathetic.
This is why empathy is fake, because you can pick and choose when to have it. And again, yes, you can pick and choose when to have sympathy too, but they're basically one and the same thing. Empathy is just a fake way of basically trying to take somebody's situation and make it about you. It's a narcissistic thing. Empathy is essentially a narcissistic trait. It's, oh, I get it because I can relate. It's a fucking one-uppers thing, man. You can't actually do. You can feel sympathy. You can't feel empathy. I hate that word.
And that's because there's a lot of hate and a lot of rhetoric that was damaging to people. An ambulance needs to take him to therapy. He needs to get it on a stretcher. Therapy, that is. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs.
It's like, iDubbbz has to be bipolar at this point. I think bipolarity is the only option that he has. Really. And it might be driven by Anissa, but wow.
So he'll box me with 0 experience. Yeah, no, I won't box you. I'll fucking pummel you in the ring. Like, yes, I would absolutely do that. Sure. I'm not above that.
Around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home.
Oh, I thought the skulls thing was kind of humorous to hear that.
Seems easy, right? Empathy. I definitely have that. There were moments where like a dog would die in a film.
Did he empathize with Ethan when he sent a bunch of people his way with the poop house and stuff? I guess he had to learn that, and that's a great picture of him. Caveat ties, I can feel bad that Jeffrey Dahmer was a sick freak, but I'm not going to put myself in his shoes. Agreed, right? There is no empathy for what Jeffrey Dahmer was going through. Jeffrey Dahmer was gross, but no one's going to sit there and go, let me get in the shoes of the serial killer. You know who does that? The people trying to solve the crimes. And they're not going to do it because they're empathetic. They're going to do it because they need to get in the mindset of a fucking weirdo. And it's also, I think that's why this phrase is being pushed. Because a lot of these people that are pushing it are fucking weirdos. So let's make you empathetic and make you weird just like them. That's what they want. Weirdos, period.
And I'd cry. So it's like, of course I have empathy.
Kaya, please
hold on. I cry because I see something happen to a dog and that's empathetic. What are you, becoming a fucking dog? These people don't make sense, man.
Hassan's life, even if he was using a shock collar, like literally, like there's so many people using, not even shock collar, they call it an e-collar. Yeah, and for anyone who's wanting to get focused on the shock collar or the vibration collar or any of the specific details of it, like we're genuinely not interested in it. Like I really do not care about.
When I see something happening to a dog, I have empathy, so I cry. I cry. Unless it's someone that I think is going to help me get big again, like Hassan, then I don't care if he shocks his fucking dog. We got less than a minute here. Let's power through.
Any of it. Yeah, like even this person in the chat saying tail pulling clip is disturbing. It's like, I don't know. I've seen a lot worse done to dogs that is disturbing.
Hold on. So like, I hate that thing too. Because I've seen something worse, that makes the bad thing not as bad. That's my argument. I've seen something worse, so bad thing isn't bad. It's just so fucking retarded. Like, these people are just not intelligent.
Oh, yes, you reminded me. So this is iDubbbz's... this is what iDubbbz dressed up for as Halloween.
And this is...
Gobi's in the femdom.
Like da.
Will I live forever after you do this?
You're blessed. Just stop eating pork and fucking dudes.
Fuck.
Don't fuck dudes anymore.
Okay.
I'm glad we could share this moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was fun. Nah, it's not that good. I prefer without.
Kind of fogging up too.
I'm over it.
Let's go back.
All right, so that was the clip video that David sent me. Thank you, David. It's everything that I wanted, I hoped, and I dreamed. But really, like, what the fuck, man? Like, what a shithead that iDubbbz is. I don't get it. I mean, I do, right? He's getting some ass. And he's dedicated, thinks his girl is the best thing in the world, and that's it. He's doing everything for her. And it happens to a lot of guys, but Jesus. Low, man. Caveat I saying why Hollywood turns bad guys into good guys. Yes. Fake empathy, right? We need to empathize with them. They're not that bad. They're okay. They're good people. But you just don't understand them. All right. Enough of that. Let's go into some interesting shit now. Some stuff going on around the world. Because Iran is on fire. In a way. There are people uprising in Iran. This is from Masih Alinejad. She apparently, if I put that up there, is an Iranian journalist and activist, president of WL Congress, founder of White Wednesdays, My Camera is a Weapon, My Stealthy Freedom Campaigns, blah, blah, blah. Okay, she has a ton of followers too. She said, message from Iran. This is Marvadhast. People are in the streets. The Islamic Republic is brutally cracking down. With every young person the Islamic Republic kills, our anger grows stronger. We must win. Otherwise, Khomeini will slaughter us all and hang us. Let the world hear our voice. They have slowed down the internet and may cut it off completely so they can kill us more easily. Friday, January 2nd, 2026, Iran. So let's watch this video of it's 22 seconds of what Iran looked like. This was 9 hours ago, this uprising started. This is Iranian people taking to the streets and protesting of the government. Now, this isn't the first time we have seen Iranians rise up like this. That's the video. Okay. This isn't the first time we've seen Iranians rise up like this. I've seen it a few times in my lifetime. And it's because before the fundamental extremism came in, they were fairly Western in a lot of ways. And they were one of the most rich and modernized countries in the Middle East. But since the extremism came in, since the Islamicists came in, it has cracked down. And they've gotten very backwards. They are the largest state sponsor of terrorism. And this is another people's rise up, which we've seen before. I do hope that, number one, it's more organic than what it typically is, that it's the people that are actually doing it, because we've seen this before. We've seen these actions where it's either CIA, it's a Mossad thing, it's one of the Five Eyes intelligence agencies. They work together typically, and they are doing things to try and overthrow governments, right? Iran has been a target for a very, very, very long time for people to, for Western governments to overthrow. And this might just be another one of those efforts. I hope the people of Iran could be successful. Now, what does that actually mean, though, for the region? Number one, if Ayatollah Khomeini is taken down, who replaces him? Because what we need to remember is typically the people that start these uprisings are not people that are interested in our version of what a republic is. They are more interested in revolution. They're typically leftist that rise up here. Nate, what's going on, brother? So I think it's a careful caution when we see that, people want revolution. And it's great, right? The Iranian people should be free. But what does revolution really mean? Because, I mean, let me just go on to this. Because I talked about that lady that was over there. And this is what she is. Here, let's go back real quick. This is what she's the president of, the WL Congress, the World Liberty Congress. It is connecting freedom fighters across the globe and it has some hashtags. It's an NGO. And what does it mean for freedom fighters, right? Freedom fighters is typically, it typically means transformative Marxist leftism. Okay. There is a lot. I'm kind of just doing a quick scan of this. And as much as I want those people to be free, you know, they use the term here of Democrats, solidarity of Democrats everywhere. What does that mean, right? Like, you got to dig into this before we support these types of things. We are so quick to support people that are in our interest, right? Of supporting, you know, in our interest of overthrows and shit like that, that we tend to see. But is this truly going to work in our favor in the end? I think we have to be more discerning over we support. Because right now we're in the fog of war, right? This is when things like this happen, there's a small battle action. And here she is reporting the regime responded to the Iranian people's protest with bullets, those killed by Islamic regime. This is 22 hours ago. And she's reporting there. And the regime's response, this is from 2 days ago. So we're looking at this and I want to click on their website because I'm curious. And I think this is what people need to start looking into. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck off your cookies. People need to look into this type of stuff more because, like, it's dope she reported this, right? But who is she supporting and who is she? So let's read a little. The world's largest action-oriented movement of political activists. Standing up against autocracy, Jesus Christ. Standing up against autocracy and defending democracy, right? So again, what the fuck is defending democracy? 70% of the global population lives under an autocracy. Democracy has been in decline. So again, what do they mean by democracy? Because we believe in different things. 1 million political prisoners join the World Liberty Congress. So there's a General Assembly, a Youth Liberty Congress, regional networks, political prisoners. So I want to dig in more. United against gender apartheid. Okay. What does that mean? Now, is this defending women? Or is this an LGBTQ thing? Let's read. Let's learn together, everyone. Empowering freedom movements. We support resources. World Liberty Congress Academy. I want to see about the gender apartheid shit. Okay, hold on. What is this? Oh, that's just, let's see, because I can't find it here. So instead, let's go over here. Let's go to about. Let's see what they say. About us, the path to global freedom. United, I hate this website, by the way. When you scroll down, it doesn't actually scroll down. It's like kind of stuck in the screen. It's fucking weird. United to transition from autocracy to democracy, hundreds of democracy leaders and activists from 55 countries under autocratic regimes, blah, blah, blah. Great, right? I don't like this website one bit. Okay. Autocrats work together to consolidate, expand power, repress transitions, disrupt existing democracies. Okay. Let's read on. Freedom, the World Liberty Congress, global network of political activists. And again, I hate that. Fighting for democratic transitions in our own countries, which you're in your own countries, but what? Core values, free and fair elections, rule of law, human rights, establishing a democratic freedoms, tirelessly to counter the erosion of democratic values worldwide. So human rights, I wonder what they mean. Rule of law, like While these things, they sound great, I understand the language that certain people use. So they empower voices through resilient alliances and collective action. That type of language scares the living fuck out of me. Collective action. Collective action is usually not a good buzzword for people that like true freedom. Advocate for democratic change, transcending, not great. Ideological boundaries that create more just and democratic world. So here's the problem. This sounds great, but a democratic world is not a good world. There's a reason why our founders made us a republic. Because if you're democratic, you have majority rule. And that's what these, either they're completely ignorant and naive to it, or this is intentional, right? Because a democracy and direct democracy is just majority rule. And that's the last thing we want, because majority rule just becomes a dictatorship by the majority. And you get autocracy from direct democracies. That's all it ever becomes. Let's keep rolling here. Go away, block. Okay, that's the bottom. All right, so that's the about. I want to see governance here. We're learning some stuff, guys. You're learning with me. So the Leadership Council, members like the blah, blah, blah. So who are these people? The Secretary General from Venezuela, the woman that we looked at from Iran, and then an individual from Russia. Executive Council, Executive Council, the President of the Executive Council from Nicaragua, another one from Afghanistan, Rwanda, Belarus, Tibet. Here's another member of the Leadership Council, Eastern European, Central Asia. Okay, this is their structure. Now, I be honest, I don't know much about these people. These are people that I'd like to look into. So let's see right here. What we do. We network. United Front for Democracy, a General Assembly, heart of the Congress, delegates for freedom of movements across the globe gather to define our collective strategy and set actionable goals. The gathering serves a critical platform for activists to share insights, align on initiatives, and collectively make decisions that shape the path forward. Youth Liberty Congress, it's trying to get kids involved, which is never a great sign. You'd like regional networks. This isn't telling me much. This is not telling me much. We looked at We Support for a second. We Speak Out. Office of Freedom Affairs. They bring in attention to critical human rights issues, promoting the cause for democracy on the global stage, and engages high-level advocacy on topics such as political imprisonment, anti-kleptocracy efforts, and international sanctions and support for exiled activists through partnerships with governments, international organizations, civil society, and the Freedom Affairs, blah, blah, blah. World Liberty Congress Award. I don't care about that. So I'm curious. All right, this isn't telling me a ton, and I think it's if they have any people that like back them, because I'm curious on if they have those who back them or anything like that. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. Terms and conditions, privacy, legal, contact. Because that's another thing that you always can find out about a group is based on who supports them, who is funding them. Because there's somebody funding the World Liberty Congress. So let's see. Who funds the World Liberty Congress? Let's see with a little Google search. If we can see. So it says here. So we're going to go on the Google machine, okay? So the Google machine, I'm going to share this now. Again, everyone, we know Google AI is faulty. So this is not going to be 100% accurate. So take this with a grain of salt. So partners like Axel Springer Foundation and Human Rights Foundation support them. Global government support, Berlin Pledge support, establishing headquarters, notes democracy without borders. They are not a great foundation, okay? Foreign investors comes from UAE, Hong Kong, and Israel, raising concerns about influence, according to the U.S. Committee on Financial Services Democrats. Crypto figures, Trump affiliation, the Trump-owned business entity owns a majority share of World Liberty Financial, notes Wikipedia, and Alt 5 Sigma Corporation made large investment. So again, I'm not going to sit here and just go, oh, because Trump owns a majority, it's great. I want to know more about who these people are. So maybe we're going to put a pause here, guys. Maybe we're going to put a pause on this whole conversation about the World Liberty Congress. And we are going to, well, I'm going to do some research over the next few days, maybe a week, whatever. And then I will come back and I will actually talk about the World Liberty Congress a little bit more. I'm going to look up some of the members, read more about them, find out. Not a deep dive, but I'll do a dive into see who these people are and to see, okay, are these people, because they use some terms I don't like, okay? And if these people are really truly trying to make a difference and not just become another global hegemon to try and push bullshit, then I'll be all for them. But I have just become so wary on this type of shit that I cannot trust anyone. And that's just me. But this also rolls nicely into kind of a little diatribe of mine. Now, I was talking to David right before the stream. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is what is going on in the country with the feeling that we have been having. And I'm not going to go and say Islamophobia. No, that's not a thing, right? People in America, people around the Western society have a good reason to look at a lot of the Muslim population and go, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Because you look at London with the rape gangs, you're coming here. A lot of your, I don't want to speak out of turn, but a lot of your Somalians, I believe, are Muslim. Somalian religion. Overwhelmingly Muslim. Okay, 99%. So they're Sunni Islam. I just need to do research because I don't want to speak out of turn. So our experiences so far have not been great because the Somalian fraud over in Minnesota. We've seen it. And I am not in the type that wants to just point a finger. That's never been me to sit there and go, all are bad. Because we know that's not true. But I'm looking at it right now going, what's the reason to keep in any of these Somalis in Minnesota right now? If this fraud is anywhere near true, what are we doing? And I guess my call is, you see a lot of practitioners of Islam, Muslims, that will tell us it is a religion of peace. It is a good religion, a religion of peace. And I've known great Muslims, people that I'm friends with, right? Anecdotal stuff, but people I'm friends with. And so I truly believe in my heart of hearts that there are a ton of Muslims that just want to practice their religion in peace and not really hurt anybody. And they're not taking everything said in the Quran in the literal sense. The same way that if you're a Christian, you shouldn't take everything in the Bible in the literal sense. Or if you're a Jew, you shouldn't take every single thing in the Torah in the literal sense. There are certain rules they want you to follow, that God wants us to follow, that Allah would want the people to follow. But there are also things in there that are just meant to be guidance. And I guess my call would be, as a Christian and as someone who has been seeing the, not majority, but a lot of it, it's building up online and on X, so it's not necessarily real life, but there's enough of it where the whole Christian nationalist movement and everything, I consider them the left wing of the right. They're more lefties than anything, because anybody that wants to segregate by groups is a collectivist by nature, and they're lefties. So for me, the best way to stave this off is just like we're seeing the Iranians rise up, other Muslims rise up. We need Muslims in the Western democracies, the Western republics and other democracies, I guess, because there are democratic spots. But places like the United States, places like the UK, Germany, we absolutely need the peaceful Muslims to rise up and to call out the ones that are making them look bad, openly, vocally, consistently. We need their spiritual leaders in the mosque to openly call this out. Now, is this potentially going to lead to violence? Of course it is. But I fear that if something like this doesn't happen, it's only going to be worse. Because the bottom line is, it's hard to control young men, especially when you are seeing and hearing something and it's becoming a reality. Because the fact of the matter is, young white Western men have been told that they are the root of all problems for the better part of a decade, if not more now. And especially if you're a Christian, that's even worse. So it's hard for me to tell these people that are just pissed the fuck off, that are now just lashing out on anyone, to not do it. And what I think would truly help and hold off a potential rising tide that won't be able to be controlled if it actually boils over is for the good Muslims, the peaceful Muslims, the ones that quite literally just want to be left the fuck alone to practice their religion, to start to rise up against the violent ones. The same way that current day Christians will call out, denounce, and rise up against violent Christians. Or at least I'd like to believe that they would, right? And if it's not happening, I'd be the first one to call them out. And I hope a lot of people would. And I know there's a lot of people that would. It needs to happen from within the community. Because if not, then there's a few things. Number one, it's worse than we thought, the cowardice. Because it is tough. It is tough to stand up, but you got to be brave. That's number one. Number two, the other thing is that maybe, just maybe, they do believe those things. The violent things that have been so pervasive over my whole lifetime that I've seen. The things that we've cringed about in the West. The genital mutilation. The hatred of homosexuality and gays to the point where they kill them. The raping, violent rape. The gangs of rape. Overall violence against anyone that speaks out negatively about their religion. If that truly is the religion, then no, that's not compatible with what we are as a society. And that's unfortunate. But if that's not what the religion is, if that is a perverted version of it, which I believe it is, then we absolutely need strong Muslims, religious leaders within it to stand up and be brave. Take that chance. And I promise you, if you start doing that in the West, in United States, the UK, Germany, Canada, you will have people that have your back. If you start truly speaking out loud and getting more and more people to be brave and do it with you, you'll be welcomed. People will be happy to have you. Because we generally are. You know, you don't walk by people every day and ask them what their creed or their religion is. Because typically, Nobody fucking cares here. We don't care as we're dealing with people to make a business transaction or stand next to on the bus or anything like that. We don't look at them and go, you a Muslim? I'm not going to stand by you. Now, some people consciously do. But it's something that it would be difficult. It would be difficult. Because I understand if you feel like there'll be threats against your life or harm against your family, it's really tough to stand up. But the unfortunate thing is, if you decided to come to a Western nation because you thought that it was going to give you a better chance at life and a better chance to rise and a better chance for your family, which it seems like it would, right? If that was your goal and you're just going to allow people that just want to come in and either take it over and turn it into the place that you left, or just in general fuck things up, then it's going to be nobody else's fault. When I think, at best, you get brought back to the country of your origin. And it'd be unfortunate if you're a decent person. So that's why we need decent Muslims to step up. And I think majority of them are. And we need that. And if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be hard for someone like me who truly believes that there are wide majority good Muslims, and that the evil ones that we see are a small minority. It's going to be very tough for me to sit there and have to be a lone voice. I will always try to defend people I think that are innocent and stuff like that. But sometimes people have to help themselves, right? You got to help yourself too. So that rolls into kind of my plea for, man, we need the good Muslims to step up and call out the shit that's going on. Stop getting defensive about, well, that's not all of us in our religion. No, if it's not, then don't argue with me. Go talk to the ones that are doing it. Go talk to your religious leaders in your mosque and have them openly call this shit out. Make sure your whole congregation knows it is not allowed there. And if it is, we will be the ones to turn you in. We will be the ones to suggest that you leave and go back home. And that's where things will start to rise up and things will start to work out again. That's what we need to see. Because that's what we do here. We see something wrong, we call it the fuck out. It doesn't matter the race, religion, or creed, especially if it's one of our own. We at least believe that we would call it out. Doesn't always work out that way, but at least we believe that those would be the people we are. And those are the people that we've at least, I think, strived to be here in this country. So that is my plea for the Muslim population of this country, because I really don't believe and think that we need to have such extreme measures. Now, if the Somalia stuff in Minnesota is true, they need to all get the fuck out. Okay. That is beyond the pale. Okay. That's beyond the pale. They need to leave. But if you are just a Muslim in this country and you love it here, you eat, sleep, and breathe America, and you are passionate about staying here, you've set your roots here, you work here, you have a family here, you do everything here, you do everything right, you're the one that we need to step up. And I know you're going to sit there and be like, this isn't my fucking problem. I want to be left alone. But the problem is that just like in any situation, the few fuck it up for the many. And unfortunately, when things get bad enough, it's just sweeping shit that occurs. So that's what I want. Will it happen? I don't know. But that's what I'm hoping for. Caveat Ty saying, we have had a Muslim foreign exchange student give birth in our house. Rollin, please expand a little on that. What the fuck? How? What happened? If you care to expand, and if you can even type it on YouTube. That's something that piques my interest. But speaking of interesting things, we're going to get to laugh a little, because going back to the Somalia situation, Libs of TikTok got a very, very, very interesting message. Chaya over here writes, "Oh my God, the Somali embassy in Serbia just DM me telling me to, quote, stop laying about Serbia. They must have learned how to spell from the Quality Learning Center." And this is her proof. The Somali embassy, Serbia. And that is a message sent to her. Stop laying about Somalia. Part of me hopes this is just a meme. Part of me hopes that I don't know Chaya. Okay. I've never really interacted with her. Full transparency, I've DM'd her, asked her to come on the show. She never got back to me. It is what it is. But I don't know Chaya. I don't think with all the reporting that she does that she would try to tarnish her reputation and create a meme without saying it's a meme. Okay? Without doing it and then without doing it and then saying it like not too long after it's a meme. I haven't seen anything of her saying it's a meme. So if this is real, if this is legit, holy fuck. Because this meme writes itself. It writes itself. Because holy shit. The fact that with the Quality Learning Center being around and that thing, they don't even check, and I get it, it's probably autocorrect. They probably were trying to write or using swipe, because I know, like, even if I were to go and swipe and try and write lying, like, I mean, it would be hard to be lying, I get it, but even if you were using that, but at the same time, it's like, holy shit. That is crazy. And hilarious that they can't fucking spell. So I thought that was pretty funny there that happened. So caveat, let's see what the fuck happened here. So he writes, LOL, I don't know how much I can explain. Basically, she hit it and I was working overnight and she told my wife she was pregnant and my wife calculated she was about 9 months along. She gave birth before I got home. So Rollin, was it in your house or was your wife able to get her to the hospital? The webs of this fucking thing are crazy. Epstein binder pose. All about the Epstein binders, man. Don't you know that they gave us a ton of information, Nate? God. Right on fucking Pam Bondi's desk. Day one. Gonna be there day one. But yeah, no. I thought that was funny. I thought that was good. And on top of that, we have Gavin Newsom doing Gavin Newsom things. Because wouldn't you know, the man that wants to run for president is just doing great things. He's a great guy, y'all. Because he wants you to know all the shady shit, because he's for, and I love it. He will sit there and will be for transparency. He'll talk about that. And he is so transparent that it's reported by Ian Jaeger that the California governor, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed a bill that would require his administration to report data for homeless programs. Now, why would he want to hide this? I mean, we know why he wants to hide this, right? We know why. Because you'll find out that the least of his worries that you'll find out is that he didn't spend a single dime, which we've seen this before, right? These corrupt places do that. But what's even worse is you'll find out that it went to some of the worst places. I wonder if our friend Kevin Dalton's here, because we've had Kevin on the show before. Leading report, 70 billion taxpayer funds have been lost right over here. I'm looking for Kevin because Kevin was on our show and Kevin leads the charge against trying to get shit with California. I don't want to go too deep because I did not vet those comments. But we know why. There's going to be fraud. There's going to be corruption. There's going to be waste. And we may find out that more shit like Minnesota's going on. Caveat saying, in our house, the police got there to help out. Holy shit. Caveat, I feel bad for you, man. Because the one thing they never tell you about childbirth is all the blood that comes out when the child is happening. And it makes sense, right? When you really think about it. But nobody warned you for that part. So I can't imagine. I mean, I hope your wife had a ton of plastic down so that they can just, Jesus. And I also hope the baby came out happy and healthy. Because overall, I hope the baby came out healthy and that the baby is good. But then I also hope that the baby went the fuck home after. Because I hope the rules for a foreign exchange student means that they are still like that their baby goes with them and that they weren't an anchor baby. But probably the reason why the girl wanted to come here, right? So she can have the anchor baby here and then she wouldn't have to leave, which is why the Supreme Court needs to uphold that the 14th Amendment does not mean that just because you're born on American soil, you're automatically American. That it was meant for that the children of slaves become Americans right away and that these slaves are considered also Americans so that we can continue to wipe the stench of slavery off of American society. That is what it was meant for. Caveat saying, I didn't see the baby there and that they had blankets. I can imagine cops are ready for this situation. They train for this. I can't imagine it happens frequently, but it's probably something that they, as first responders, at least get some training for. But God, they have a story to tell for the rest of their lives. But yes, back to awesome Mr. Newsom here. Because again, remember, this guy's going to run for president. And a really good chance that he gets the Democratic vote. So here he is, vetoing this bill. Now, the only other thing I want to look into, and I would look into, is what else is in this bill? Okay. What else is in this bill? I didn't read the bill. There might be other bullshit in this bill. I'm not defending Gavin Newsom, don't get me wrong. But all these types of bills have so much pork, so much bloat, and I get very concerned when the California state houses send something like that to Gavin Newsom's desk. Because a lot of leftists in the state house in California. So what else was in that bill? I get it, Gavin's protecting his own ass. But when a bunch of leftists put a bill like that up to the governor's desk, I don't know. Rollins saying, yes, healthy, and she went home, but we fought because we didn't want her to have severe consequences when she went back. If you don't mind me asking, Rollins, where is she from? Which country? But yeah, no, I could imagine that she was probably terrified. Also saying, how would he get any votes? He's going to get a lot of votes, caveat, because also got to remember that the Democrats, their process is not a true primary, a true Democratic race. These super delegates essentially decide who the candidate is. And it's all about swaying the super delegates. So the actual voter, the actual people that vote for Democrats never actually have a say on who their candidate's going to be. It has everything to do with super delegates. It is an incredibly corrupt system. And it's hilarious that any Democrat voter actually votes and thinks that they have a say in who becomes their candidate. If the super delegates want Newsom, he's going to be the one that they get chosen. So in my eyes, Democrats should be disqualified for the most part because they've never, the Democrat people have not chosen. It's funny. They're the ones that talk about democracy. They have a Soviet that picks their candidate every time. That is what these super delegates are. They are a Soviet. They are what they want in your society, these stakeholders. That's what a stakeholder society is going to look like. We let the people have their say, but then the ones that really know will actually make the decisions. The DNC process is a microcosm of what they want in our society. I'd better not say for protection, but Muslim country. It makes sense. Maybe off the record we could talk about it, Roland. That it's not so public. But yeah, so Newsom, there was definitely some shit in there that Newsom doesn't want to come out before he runs for president. And they calculated that this veto, and the thing is, people are going to forget about this, right? I'm talking about it today. I'm going to fucking forget about it. Maybe it'll get brought back up when he runs for president. And the candidates are going to do it themselves, right? They are going to 100% do it themselves. But, man. Roland caveat saying, my wife went with her to take her back. The family decided to pretend the baby was her parents' baby. They still want to protect their kids, right? That family wants to protect their daughter. So I'm happy. I'm hoping everything worked out for that young girl. That's a rough situation. Again, it should make everyone appreciate the freedoms we have in this country, right? That, yeah, you might fear family repercussions, but it's so different because she was fearing death and the death of her child. That's what she was fearing. She was fearing that she'd be killed for that happening. Where in America, you feel shame, some economic hardship. People might call you a whore and stuff like that. That's what you fear here. You rarely feel fear getting murdered. And the thing is, if you get murdered here, your murderer comes to justice. Where over there's a justification for why they killed a woman for having a child out of wedlock. So it's completely different there. So I hope everything's working out with her. And I don't know if you're still in touch with her, but I hope everything is going well with her. She's doing well. We keep in touch. There you go. You just answered my question. That's very good. But all right. So with Newsom, bottom line is he wants to run for president. He calculated that this veto would hurt him less in his chances than would him actually putting this into law. So interesting stuff. What's going on there? We'll keep a monitor on it, but man, I'd be lying if I said that we are going to go crazy and stuff like that. Because again, like everything else, like all the news cycle, we're going to fucking forget about it. It's the unfortunate part, but we are going to forget about it. And on that note, I'm going to bring this up because I thought these were interesting by Eric July. And this is funny, 2 straight live streams where we mention Eric July here. But Eric July had 2 posts here that I think are relevant, not only to, what went on we just saw in California, what's going on in Little Somalia over there in Minneapolis, what's going on in New York with Zoran Mamdani. I think this is just relevant to all of them, plus to everything in general that we see going on. And caveat also, today is a Sam Adams Summer Ale. I had 1 left and I decided to drink it because the Summer Ale is delicious. But anyway, so let's read what Eric had to say here. He had 2 posts, and like I said, I think they were pretty prevalent, and we'll talk about them a little. So Eric says, at some point, you have to stop acting like fraud is some weird glitch in the welfare machine. Fraud isn't the exception. It's a predictable outcome of a system that takes money by force and disperses it through bureaucracies. Don't act confused when opportunities show up to feed. When you build an entire economy around other people's money, you're not creating compassion, you're creating incentives for corruption. And he continued, quote, we just need reform, end quote. This is a coping mechanism. That's what you say when you can't accept the obvious truth. Forceful redistribution doesn't become moral because you run it through a government office instead of a thug on the street. If the core of the system is coercion, the only, quote, reform, end quote, you can offer is better marketing. You can shuffle the same stolen dollars into a different program name, hire another compliance officer, slap a new acronym on the same scam, and none of that changes what it is. And I just thought that those 2 things were very well said. Very well said on exactly what is going on with all these things. And caveat, if you want to hang out, I can always throw you the stream invite. Let's do it. If you want to come in and chill and we can talk. So boom, I'll send it to you via X real quick. But overall, it's obvious what's happening there, right? Like that, the things in the corruption and what Ripa is saying here is very, very, very prevalent. Oh, I'll stop sharing right here. Boom. But I don't want to show everyone my conversations, but yeah, so no, what Ripa says is very, very prevalent here. I'm trying to find you, Roland. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Roland, I just sent you the invite via X. Let me go back to Ripa. And then we can reshare over here. Look at how organized I am. Boom. And we're back. Okay. So what he's saying is important. because overall, this is what California has been trying to do for years now under Gavin Newsom. This is what Zoran Mamdani is presenting when he's saying we're getting away from rugged individualism and we're jumping into more collectivism. This is what all these types of welfare programs, these entitlements is what we like to call. Let's bring them in. Rollin, what's going on, bud?
Not much.
It must be my birthday. You're here.
What's that?
It must be my birthday. You're here twice in 1 week.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's kind of a weird situation because I don't have. I'm gonna just switch my microphone real quick.
That's fine. Yeah.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're a little low though. Let me see if I can raise your volume. Or if you could raise it yourself. But while Rollin's trying to get that figured out, we shall keep going. So this is the type of stuff that they're trying to do in all these places. They are trying to force people, which is what they do, right? We give taxes and the taxes go into these entitlement programs and we have no say where the fuck our money goes. It just goes where we want it to. Rollin, give me a sound check. Can we hear you better?
Can you hear me?
You're still a little bit low. If you can figure out a way to raise that up a little bit more, that would be awesome.
Okay. Well, it's not giving me the option for my headset.
Oh, I hear you better now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you did, but I hear you better now.
I just got closer to my computer, but I don't want to sit like that. It is.
You do sound a little better there.
Gosh, that's kind of a pain.
There you go. You're good. We can work. You're good now. We can work with that.
Okay. So
Beautiful.
what is
beautiful? Beautiful. All right. So you obviously heard the messages. I don't know if you were listening when I read what Eric July had said about all the reform and stuff. What do you feel about what Eric's saying there in terms of especially what's going on in New York City with Zoran, Gavin Newsom, Minneapolis, all that type of shit?
Yeah, I didn't hear you read it because that's when I was transitioning, and the YouTube video is like a few seconds behind. So,
I forgot about that. I don't watch myself.
Yeah. So, let's see. Go ahead and read it for me real quick again.
All right, so here I'll jump back into the first one. So the first one, he says at some point you have to stop acting like fraud is some weird glitch in the welfare machine. Fraud isn't the exception. It's a predictable outcome of a system that takes money by force and disperses it through bureaucracies. Don't act confused when opportunists show up to feed. When you build an entire economy around other people's money, you're not creating compassion. You're creating incentives for corruption.
I agree with that.
And then he said here, quote, we just need reform. This is a coping mechanism. That's what you say when you can't accept the obvious truth. Forceful redistribution doesn't become moral because you run it through a government office instead of a thug on the street. If the core of the system is coercion, the only reform you can offer is better marketing. You can shuffle the same stolen dollars into a different program name, hire another compliance officer, slap a new acronym on the same scam, and none of that changes what it is.
Yes. I agree. The problem isn't, does anybody want to actually do what it takes to change the system? Obviously, because I said earlier in the chat, well, why do they allow all this corruption to go on? It's because the people in like Minnesota, it's votes. I mean, so, and then Republicans don't want to do anything to fix anything. They just want to say, hey, look at how bad all this stuff is, but not do anything. So,
well, I also feel like it's on us as the voters, right? Because we keep on voting in the same old Republicans that don't want to do a goddamn thing. We keep on voting in the uniparty Republicans. And I think, as much as people say term limits wouldn't help, I feel like it would be a helpful way because when you get the fresh faces in, they come in with hellfire and vinegar, right? And piss and vinegar. And some of them do want to make a change, and they get slapped down by the old guard saying, this is the way it is. Get the fucking line, right?
Well, yeah, but what career? I mean, I agree, but what career politician is going to vote for tier limits or term limits? That's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I don't know what the solution is, but we speak about. The problem is when it comes to practical politicians that are career politicians, you see this, but each state loves their career politician.
They do.
Because
We've seen that. Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, I've told you, John Thune is our career politician, but he is a brilliant, charismatic schmoozer. He's very friendly. He goes up to people and makes them feel good for talking to him. How does a person vote against that?
I mean, you need to have a better option. And I want to say hello to a random fucking raccoon. Well, if it isn't the Alex himself, it is. Hi. How are you, random fucking raccoon? I hope I'm pronouncing it like the Irish doesn't offend you, because that's how I just read it. Like if Conor McGregor was saying it, a random fucking raccoon. Surprised YouTube let you have that. I'm not gonna lie. But maybe because you spelled it with a K instead of a C. I know they have like some weird things about like your handles and stuff like that. But hello, welcome. Hopefully you subscribe if you like what you see, and if you hate me, subscribe anyway, so you can come in here and just make fun of me some more. That's okay. But yeah, so I agree with you on all that it has like, and this is why like it's like a touchy thing and it's weird, but if we need to call a Confederation of the States, a Constitution of States, and just kind of look at the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and rewrite it again. But at the same time, I don't know if I trust anyone to do it the right way, because where are the real thinkers right now, right? Like they're all here on podcasts, but how many of us actually have a fucking brain? I mean, it's, I don't know if I would put any of our best thinkers up against like the worst founding father, right? Like they were in their mid 30s, 20s, businessmen, and crazy. It's wild. I don't know. I don't know if we have the brains to do it the right way. I guess that is my biggest issue with something like that.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing is, I'm just trying to think of like practical solutions that will actually work as opposed to ideals, term limits. Oh, just get good politicians. Oh, just educate people. And, sometimes I'm just thinking it's like, I think at the first part, we just need to focus on basically crushing the Democrats in everything.
Yes.
And if they go away, then we can create two new parties. And that's going to take a long time. And then you can fight the uniparty Republican versus, but.
And we're seeing that battle unfold just within the MAGA Republican coalition right now.
But we can't get unified to make that happen either. So that's another problem,
Yeah. Random fucking raccoon saying, I've seen people post straight pornography on YouTube. I'm not surprised they allow me to have my name. Honestly, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. It's true. So I'm happy that they did let you have it. And I'm happy a random fucking raccoons hanging out. But yeah, I'm a defender of the two-party system. I always have been. You've heard me rant about it before.
Oh, I don't know what other option there would be, because the other countries with their multi-party system is even worse, because then you just get a even worse party to win, who just wins it by like 33.1% of the vote, and they get to dominate all of politics. And so that's ridiculous too.
There's either that or they have to force a coalition anyway, right? Because even if you have the 33%, you can get your prime minister, but then that prime minister needs to convince semi-like-minded groups to get them over that 50% hump. And if they can't form the coalition, they dissolve the government and have elections again. Like that's the British system. It's fucking stupid. And then if any of those coalition wants to break apart, they do a vote of no confidence and they have to hold elections again. Like that system to me is just incredibly chaotic.
That's how the Canadian system is too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, at least we have a sense of stability. Like we have to live with our decision of president for at least 4 years, unless something rises to the extreme level of impeachment and removal. We have to
Well, at
live
least
with
with
our
the-
senators for 6 years.
At least with a two-party system, you're never going to get extreme terrible being in control of everything.
So random fucking raccoon saying this might be considered a personal opinion, but I feel like it's great to have many takes on politics, hell on anything really. But at the same time nowadays, especially people get lost in the sauce. 100%. The echo chamber is real, and I think we're all a little bit at fault with that because it's uncomfortable to sit there and not to watch The View where you know they're a bunch of morons, right? That's not uncomfortable. But I think what's uncomfortable is if you sit there and you are truly seeking other side's knowledge, and then you have that person that's smart, that knows their side, and gives you a legitimate thing that makes you think about it and chew on it, having to change a worldview that you have is really fucking uncomfortable. And to be willing to do that, to be willing to jump into that lion's den of, okay, this person is a really good thinker on the left, and then you read something and it now challenges a core tenet, that's hard. That's really hard. So that I think that's also why we've echo chambered so much more. Random fucking raccoon coming in again, and they forget that this is meant to have different ideas on what's best for our country and instead make it about winning. That's true. That's their only job. When politicians get into office, and others have said it, but Matt Gaetz has blown this up big time. You start campaigning the moment you get in there. And these safe senators hang out. They're good. They can make some votes because they know they're there for 6 years. But the senators that are up for re-election and are in campaign season are super careful, and they know they're allowed to be. And this is an all sides thing. So Roland, do we just invoke the second and just overthrow our government? Because part of the second is to have weapons against a tyrannical government. Do we just fucking overthrow it? And I don't understand. I don't even know what to do at this point.
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, it's about tolerable corruption.
Yes.
Because right now, they're still not. I know people want to complain, but they're still not actually rounding people up and locking them up. The government isn't yet, and so
no.
I know you don't want to get to
countries.
that point, but I think honestly, if what Pete Hegseth is doing with the military, if you can root out a lot of crap from the military and get solid people in the military,
that's helpful.
That would be the start. Where because ultimately, whatever the military says, kind of, might makes right kind of thing.
The Joint Chiefs have a lot of power in this country. They really do. And you have experience with that. Obviously, you served. And I think what we've learned, especially in the past few years, is there are a lot, once you get into that higher rank and you're getting into the general, it's so much more about promotions and less about doing the right thing. They want to get that extra star. They want to get that prestige, because it seems to me like you become a politician when you get to that point. You're playing politics more than you're trying to run a country. And I think that's another problem, is the incentivization of when you get to a general. Are you still trying to run the military, or are you now trying to win curry and win favor and factionalize? And it seems like it starts over there.
Well, I think we need some Pattons instead of some Eisenhowers in charge of the military.
Or do we have to put them back on the fucking front line? Like, make them march in. Like, if you're the general that's in charge of whatever action, you're not allowed to sit in fucking Washington. At a minimum, you must go and you must be near the action. You don't need to go and have a gun on you, right? But you need to set up a temporary base camp near where the action's going to be. I think that would cause them to think a little bit extra so that they don't have to be in a base in fucking South Korea while they're leading a launch over in Syria. I feel like that.
I think there is, like, though, if someone is a great actual, I don't think any of the big brass right now are, but if someone's an actual strategic genius, they probably should be protected a little bit more. You don't want to put them in the front lines as well. But I don't know how many of these
that want to be there. They're the psychos that want to be there usually.
Exactly.
Like your Pattons. They want, and your Eisenhower, like, they want to fucking be out there.
Oh, exactly.
Because they want to know. But the thing is, if it changes, they want to be able to react to that change there. If the theater changes, they want to be able to respond. Where, again, it's with satellite, it's easier now and you can see shit with drones, but And we haven't been in a true kinetic war, where there hasn't been a political leaning and the rules of engagement don't fucking suck in a real long time. So is that a Rolling Rock that I just saw?
It is.
Fuck yeah, I love Rolling Rock. Nicely done. Random raccoon. I like this. He's taking caveat. You jump in and we have a random fucking raccoon jumping in.
Except for it's green. So when the green screen goes, you can't see it very well.
So random fucking raccoon saying a lot of people, especially if they're older, find it hard to have an open view to things when they truly believe they're right or are encouraged to believe what's wrong. So while I agree with you there, I think it's less about trying to change them and more about trying and extract some of their wisdom, right? Because they have a reason why they are so dug in. Number one, they're old and they don't have to give a fuck. But number two, there's a reason why there's experiences behind them that we don't get from the history books. So if you have a relative that's maybe a grandparent or older in their 70s, something like that, even 60s, and they're dug in, and I'm guilty, I argue with them, but maybe sometimes just sit in and find out why. What experiences they had in their life and how did they see things? What was their upbringing? Because typically for me, your hard leftists were raised really well. They were either raised with a silver spoon or incredibly poor. Where I think that's, or they were just, and yeah, a lot of them raised really well, like had a lot of money, never went without and shit like that. So that's typically there. And random fucking raccoon, come back one more time. Hell, I'm not immortal to it myself. I get lost here and there, and it's a completely human thing. We want to fight for what we believe. However, it's important to look back on it after the heat of the moment. Absolutely. Listen, I'm a person that I decided that, obviously, I think, Rollin, I think we're not too different in age. I was raised that hate communism, right? Communism bad, capitalism good. And we learned generally about communism was Cuban Missile Crisis, the Bolshevik Revolution, and that's honestly not much, right? That's basically it. We didn't learn about Chairman Mao. We didn't learn about Pol Pot. But I took it upon myself to go and, 1 second, I got a cough. To go and read the full Communist Manifesto, to read El Capital, Das Kapital, whatever he wrote, to read all of Marx, to go in and learn about Mao's both times that he rose, to learn about Pol Pot, to learn more about Che Guevara, to really dive into the critical theories just to see, was I wrong? And I came out fucking hating it more. So it's like, need to dive into these things. And no, I agree with you 100%. Mortal Raccoon, random fucking raccoon. So, Rollin, I also want to bring this into there because you mentioned we were talking about jailing. We're looking at Tim Waltz, right?
Mm-hmm.
For all intents and purposes, if he knowingly lent out all of this money to these groups and knowingly gave it to him via fraud, what should be his punishment?
Well, I mean, obviously he should go to jail, but one, how do you prove it was knowingly, right? Because I mean, it's clear that he's incompetent and just doesn't have any intelligence. So he could very easily just be like, "Oh, I didn't know what was going on." So I mean, that's totally believable that he would be incompetent and didn't know what was going on. So how can you prove that he had any knowledge of it or helped it out? That's a uphill. You got to get that point first, and then from there, then you got to see, does anybody have the backbone to actually pursue serious charges, or are they going to be like, well, let's just be the better, more, because what would it do if we put one of our political opponents in jail? Which I do understand that logic.
See,
but
so here's
the
where I
problem
wanna
is
go
the
with
other side is already gone way beyond that. So it's
I'm very happy you said that because that's where I wanted to go with it, because we hear that all the time, right? Number one, that Rubicon was broken when they tried to put Trump in jail, and they put Trump associates in jail and tried to put his lawyers in jail. So that all Rubicon was broken. That's number one. Number two.
Well, in the past too, the thing is, you got Trent Lott from a while ago.
Yes.
You got, the only Democrat that I can think of that's ever actually been charged for anything was Blagojevich from Chicago. But
And
can you
Anthony
really
Weiner,
think of,
but Anthony Weiner did it to himself. It wasn't necessarily a political thing.
yeah, what was his actual consequence? He's still trying to run for office. So I
Agreed.
don't think it was even like that career ruining.
So
You know,
my thing that I look at it is we have to get away from that adage of, oh, we can't arrest our opponents. Because the thing is, a career politician has become just that now. So they're always, 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 always going to be your political opponent. So if it is just and it's lawful to do, you have to go ahead and uphold that justice. You can't not do it in fear of, well, it's a political opponent. Now it's different if it's this young rising star and you're just throwing them in jail because you don't want them to run against you. There's nothing wrong, right? It's not like a Soviet type of thing. You show me the person, I'll show you the crime. We don't want that. But if it's a legitimate thing, then we have to, and we can't have that fear of, well, we can't go against a political opponent. It's like, no, they're always going to be, because it's not like the old days where a person would go into office, but they were a legitimate lawyer. They were a legitimate doctor. They were a legitimate whatever. They would go for office, they'd win, they'd run for a little, and then they'd leave and they'd go back to their job. It doesn't happen that way anymore. So I am over it. Now, do you think that they should, if they can figure out a way to make the charges legitimate, right? Because I don't just want to banana Republic against Tim Waltz because he's a fucking moron. But if they can show like a gross incompetence and truly charge him with being a accessory in some way, do we give Tim Waltz the highest charge, even if we know it's not going to stick, to just put him through that process and to potentially get a discovery there so we can unload more and find out more legally?
now you're asking, do we, or would I like to?
Both.
Those are, I would like to. Do we? I mean, you say legitimate crime, and the problem is our legal system is so screwed up that everybody is probably committing a crime every other day, whether they know it or not.
Someone wrote a book. I think it was like 1,000 felonies that you may not know about or something like that. And we're always committing a felony somehow.
Exactly. So if somebody wanted to get anybody at any time, they probably could. So I want to know, I want to talk about true nuance, not pretend nuance. Like when someone says nuance, they just mean you should accept what I have to say, as opposed to real nuance, where it's like, you want to draw a line between where is the step of like something, because obviously if the Somalian thing, and like if Tim Waltz was like taking cash out of his pocket and just shoving it into Somalian daycares, that's an extreme example. Well, obviously that's legitimate.
Yeah.
But if he was like incompetent and didn't know what was going on, even though he should, does that reach the realm? I mean, I would like to see it, but I'm just saying that because he's someone I'm not very fond of. But I also want to say
it's weird too, right? Because like we don't want to start that precedent of if you're just incompetent, we should put you in jail, right? Because
everybody wouldn't be in jail, but
so at least removal, right? Like there should be a process. Which again, do we want to cross the Rubicon of the federal government forcing a removal of a state executive, right? Like it crosses so many boundaries, but it's like something needs to at least be attempted to be done, because the people are looking for blood, and rightfully so. Because if this Somalian thing is legit, right, then something's got to give. Now, for me and David have talked about this. All the Somalian denaturalize, get the fuck out, right?
I agree.
Denaturalize, gone. Your community is obviously right now a net negative. And it's similar to what I was saying before about we need the good Muslims to rise up. None of the good Somalians there have called it out, right? None of them have risen up. They've all just stayed fucking quiet. So if that's your choice, goodbye. And
that we know of, but I think there have been some Muslims, but their lives are in danger.
Agreed.
Well, I think they're ex-Muslims, and that's even why and they have called, I should say Middle Eastern, but because have called out stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously their lives are in danger. It's like,
but it's, it's hard because it's not enough. And that's why I was saying, like, you need the religious leaders in the mosque to do it, because that's where a lot of it comes from as well. A lot of these religious leaders are still taking orders from some of these hateful people, and that's how they preach. And it's just, again, I've had plenty of good Muslim friends, great people, that, you know, I've gotten to fights next to these individuals and they fought with me, right? Like, they're people that I trust. And it's like, again, like I said, as a Christian, I feel like we've called shit out before when other Christians are doing things wrong. But we also don't feel the
that's
repercussions.
actually that's very cool for Christian churches to do, is insult other churches to show how relevant they are. And I'm actually not really a big fan, but they're like, oh, because a lot of Christian churches will be going like, look at how horrible, or church trauma. We're not like that. All these other, you're right. Most Christian churches are bad. Come to, I think it's actually very trendy for Christian churches and Christians to bash other Christians. And maybe sometimes I would think maybe we could hold up a little bit on that. I think we should be open to criticism. Absolutely. But I think sometimes it's like, well, we just want to show how relevant we are by this idea of bashing other Christians, not as a mean to as real constructive criticism, but as a means to say, hey, look, I'm not one of those. You can trust.
Some of those trendy reform churches, though, are also the ones that are flying trans flags outside of them. So it's like, you're not really that Christian. You're Christian. You're like, what is it? What would it be? A Crino? A Christian in name only.
No, I would even say some evangelical churches have the habit of doing that too, that I would say are still solid Bible believing churches, but they, and they have a heart, and I understand the point of it. You just, you want to be nice, you want to be loving and empathetic. But I get the point of that. You want to be open, but at the same time, that means you're not attacking one to attack another. You're offering either way. Grace is being offered to one, but not another.
Oh yeah, listen, if you're overly zealous about it, or you're like super holier than thou, I'm both of them. Like, get the fuck out of here, go away. And some of them are just that way. So random fucking raccoon. I'm gonna keep calling you random raccoon, not raccoon, random fucking raccoon. It's just a tough difference between right and wrong. Yes. And unfortunately, contrary to popular belief, there is gray area with this stuff, and the rule of law often creates that gray area. And what you can get to stick is also very important when it comes to trying to charge people and thing with that. Random fucking raccoon coming back saying, you know what the funniest thing is? The difference between when I was a teenager in high school and now after I'd studied much psychology. What is the funniest thing? I would like for you to finish in a second, random fucking raccoon. But at that note, real quick, let's jump into a completely different topic. We're going to jump off politics here because Roland, you know how my brain works.
No, well, it's how my brain works too. So that's why I think we're a little simpatico.
Very fucking random here. So the other day, you see my search there, new space station being built. I was talking to my daughter because of my wife and everyone, because I saw a little while ago that there was a new space station module that was going to be built, and it was going to replace the International Space Station. And they were going to be bringing it up in pieces, and it was supposed to start in 2026 this year, or 2027. It's supposed to be like a 3, 4, 5 year process to get and build the whole thing. And it was going to be smaller, but it was going to be like really high tech. So the research they could do was going to be awesome. So randomly, this is what I searched in my phone the other day: new space station being built, because I just wanted to be accurate with it. And this is what I found real quick before we get to that. Random fucking raccoon said, you find that a lot, and I mean a lot of things, are comically obvious manipulation or sweet talk, especially with politics nowadays. Yes. 100%. It's all sweet talk and trying to get you to do whatever the fuck they want. Hear me blow this up a little bit so that the people can read. Look at me in my experience podcasting, Roland. So now, again, Google AI overview. Take some of this shit with a grain of salt. I do not know how factually true this is, but we're going to pretend like it's true. So it says multiple space stations are being built or planned to follow the International Space Station, with the first commercial ones like Vast Haven 1 aiming for launch in 2026, while NASA develops lunar orbiting gateway, and private companies like Axiom Space build stations for future low Earth orbit commercial use. These new stations will support research, blah, 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 a little bit more. I'm not going to watch the video. Don't fucking care. But real quick, Ron, we know that there are thousands of satellites already in low orbit.
Mm-hmm.
How is adding a whole bunch of fucking space stations going to, like, I don't know how we launch anything right now. I really don't. Like, how is this going to work?
Have to ask my son that. He's the one who's studying to become an astronaut. So
bring this up to him and be like, how the fuck is any of this going to work? Like, they're not,
exactly.
it's gonna be massive. Like, so.
Well, I think ultimately, if we want to go deeper into space, we're going to need something, probably maybe a station there, and then we'll get a station on the moon, and then we can take off from the moon to get to Mars. And so I don't know how they do it, but obviously I wonder how much Elon Musk is going to be involved. And
fun fact, not too long ago, NASA was trying to do something, I guess, that was going to help with a potential lunar base that they were setting up. And SpaceX had the contract, and it was supposed to be ready to go, I think, by next year, 2027. And SpaceX said that they were going to need more time. So under the Trump administration, and this is when he was still on good terms with Elon, and they're back on good terms now, but they pulled SpaceX contract and reopened it back up to bid. So right now, Trump's NASA is pretty fucking serious. But let's go over, because I think it's like damn near 6 or 7 different things that are about to go up. So we talked about the Vast Haven 1 commercial station aiming to launch its first module 2026, designed with the focus on comfortable interiors and commercial use. So this is pretty crazy, right? Comfortable interiors. So they want to get people up there to maybe go live and do like a hotel stay.
That's what I was about to say, like a hotel kind of thing.
That's cool. Like, that would be, like, I get it. Me and you aren't going to do it, right, Ron? But if I'm like, this is sometimes when it's like, it's pretty dope to be wealthy. Like, you go up there, and now Katy Perry's dumbass isn't just going to go a little bit past the line and come back and kiss the ground. She may be able to actually go up and spend a few nights in a space station. Like, that's pretty sick. I would do that in a heartbeat.
How much would a room cost to stay in a room?
Imagine probably 10 million a night, something like that. It would be a ridiculous number because it's going to cost hundreds of billions to build this thing.
Oh yeah.
So you got to make your money back somehow. So Axiom Space here, which was mentioned in the other thing, building modules that will attach to the International Space Station first, eventually forming a standalone commercial station with early construction already underway. So this is the one I heard about, was Axiom Space, and I thought it was cool because, again, it's attaching to it. The astronauts that are there are going to start moving to this new module, and then as they build more and it becomes able to withstand, like, the astronauts can live, they're just going to send the ISS back to the Earth. It's going to be fucking crazy. So real quick now, in development, this is where it got interesting. I kept scrolling and I'm like, how many things are here? So Lunar Gateway. It's a NASA-led station orbiting the moon with assembly starting in 2024, 2025. So it started, serving as a staging post for lunar and Mars missions. So it's exactly what you said, Wallen, where they are building this as a post. Now, I can imagine Elon is pretty close with this because this is his goal. We know he's been working with NASA for the better part of a decade with SpaceX and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. And what's hilarious is this going to dispel the whole dark side of the moon bullshit? Because it's orbiting the fucking moon. Obviously, they're going around to the back of it. Do you think they're hanging out with the aliens every time they go back and being given technology, Ron?
Well, no, actually, what I think is happening is because they can't actually get past a certain barrier on the way to space, that they're just filming it in a movie studio, that they're going to be in the moon. And
I love it. I love it. I love those theories. They're so good. Okay, so we have Star Lab, which I love the name of because it just reminds me of C Lab, the show, and then the Cartoon Network Adult Swim C Lab 2021 or whatever it was, where it was like a spoof off of it. But so it's from Voyager Space Airbus MDA. I didn't expect to see Airbus in there. A commercial station planned for the late 2020s focused on research and manufacturing. So this one isn't necessarily a hotel, but it's going to be private and manufacturing. I wonder manufacturing what though, right? Like, I'm curious, what the fuck are they manufacturing up in space? Is it going to be more space parts to help the lunar gateway, to build more and start to like, are they like interesting, right?
Well, if you could have manufacturing up in space to build space station modules, you wouldn't have to blast them up from Earth every time. So if you could get a factory that would build pieces, I don't know how you do that, but that was my thought when you say that. If you like, because if you get to Mars, I mean, ideally, if you could have some kind of manufacturing ability to, maybe use the iron ore all around to create more structures while you're there, and then
you get like a shipment, right? Like I can imagine like you would just maybe get every 6 months or so a large shipment from Earth of any ores or things that you would need to work and continue to build. So I don't know. That'd be cool. A random fucking raccoon says, as an artist myself, I have a pretty biased view against AI, especially AI image generation. What's our take on AI art, Sir Alex and Sir Rollin? I like being called a sir. That's very nice. Rollin, you go first as also an artist, a creative and everything like that. What is your view on AI art?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in between. I'm not the anti people, like everything AI is evil. I have, definitely some questions. Like I said, I did my audiobooks AI voice.
Yep.
So just because I can't afford at this moment to hire voice actors, I would love to get to the point when
Rollin, I'm here.
Okay, well, if I got something for you, I'll definitely send it your way.
I'll do some stuff. You want to give me some lines? You think I could fit a part with my voice? I'll read some shit. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible voice.
I mean, I have a good face for radio. I know that. So you're not fully against it, right? So
I'm not full, but okay. So when it comes to like images and stuff, it's tough because, I guess you're going to be putting artists out of business, and I play around with like grok art.
Yeah,
I don't get how you can get anything good out of it because every time I try something, it always looks hideous. So, and that's just me being funny with it. I'm not little legit trying to do anything, but so, and then obviously, with our comic book studio, pretty much everybody is super anti-AI. So they would definitely be. It's like, oh, in fact, I mean, probably not even. They don't even want us to use voice AI for promos. So just voice actors and stuff. So they're completely anti-AI and everything. So, and I'll use it for correcting my writing stuff. And
yeah.
It's
so the way you're describing it is the way I would go about it. Is it's a tool, and I think we need to embrace it as a tool. I don't think that it doesn't have the ability to be creative yet. It's still a person that has to prompt it. Now, I'm not saying that person's an artist, that person's a creative, right? But they still have to prompt the AI to get the AI to do something. So it's still just being used as a tool. So I'm not against AI because I did my AI diatribe, a random fucking raccoon. You missed it yesterday. I did my diatribe in how I'm not fearful of AI, that I think AI will actually lead to more jobs, more outcomes. I think we're dooming and glooming because it's the next big thing that humans can't control. We hate not being in control. But I think that as an artist yourself, my advice, and I'm a creative as well. I'm writing. I'm gonna finish a book eventually. I can't draw for shit, so I'm not in that game because I can't draw. But overall, if you don't learn how to use it now, you will fall behind because it is going to be something that's going to be embraced. Will it ever fully take over? No, it's not creative. You have your comment here, and I agree about that. I don't think so. As you said, it lacks much creativity and accuracy. However, what do we do once it stops lacking accuracy, and will people stop caring about creativity?
Well, I think a lot of people have stopped creating about creativity a lot of times too. That's why a lot of movies are just formulaic and kind of the sameness. They just want their comfort things.
So with that though, I think we'll see this like we're seeing now with the movie industry, but we're starting to see this, Rollin, because we're starting to see people going, all right, enough fucking CGI on everything.
Yeah.
Enough where the Spider-Man team announced we are using practical effects again. Like, you don't make that announcement if you don't know that people are starting to get bothered, right?
Mhm.
And I think
That's true.
Western creatives in the comic book space and stuff are starting to see, like, we are getting trounced by Eastern manga, manhwa, anime, because people just want good stories again, and we're losing comic book fans to that because they're just giving them that escapism. And we've seen this the Absolute run in DC has actually been pretty good. The DC Absolute run has been people that have hated DC and Marvel lately have been like, there's been some really good. I think I heard Absolute Batman's actually really good. So I just think that we're gonna get this peak, and Raccoon, you're going to see people that are going to rampantly start using AI, and there will be a huge acceptance of AI image, AI art as it gets balls accurate, and people will be hired to just type in the prompts, boom, pump it out. But then normal everyday people are going to go, I'm not fucking paying for that. That's an AI picture. Do you have anyone in your company that draws anymore? And it's going to take maybe 10 years. And I get it. That sucks, right? But you will have a group of individuals that will start to go, give me real shit again. Give me someone. I don't see any fucking brushstrokes in that. And the thing is, some of the best artwork isn't perfect. We enjoy the human element. We enjoy that perfect piece of work that we can notice had a human touch. Because that flower, where every other flower is perfect, that petal's a little off. We like that shit. It's still a gorgeous work, but we notice the human flaw. I think that it's going to be tough for a little bit, but I also think it'll peak. It'll start to plateau, and then it will slowly come back. It will never leave. It'll never get back to where it was, but it'll come back and then hang around. It's a tool. I think we need to embrace it, learn it, use it, don't abuse it, and continue to work your fucking ass off. Because if you're talented overall, you will slowly rise up. And some of us will boom up. Other of us will hang around, and our family will know we're talented. Our friends will know we're talented, and we'll go to the grave knowing we're talented, and we just didn't get that shot. And it happens. But that's my take on it. Rollin, anything else?
No, I mean, I actually don't know what's going to happen with it or where it's going to go. I mean, what do people really, I mean, I don't know. Let's say you see a movie that has certain beat structures that you just like. And let's say you can just make your own movie and you're just tired of like Hollywood's messaging and stuff like that, and you just go somewhere and say, make me my own movie with some values I care about, that has this and this and this and beat, and is that going to be just hard for people to not do that?
We're going to get tired of our own brains, because here's the thing, and I think we're overestimating how creative people are. I really do. I think that we're looking at, and I know Disney is going to give people the ability to go make their own movies, right? And there's so many people that I listen to in the podcast space that are saying they're going to go design this, 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 and this. But if you're, number one, a popular podcaster, and number two, even someone that's willing to jump out here, typically you think you have somewhat of a brain. Not everyone thinks, okay? Not everyone, they're going to play around with it. They're going to do it a few times. They're going to get some fucking terrible results, and they're going to go back to watching people that could do it, right? They're going to play with it. But the people that create like a good Disney movie with AI are going to be the people that were already creating decent shit anyway, that have an imagination. So I think we overestimate the populace. Most people are sheep. They're not incredible. They're smart enough. They're smart, but they're not willing to step out and try to be something else. And I think we're going to find that. So real quick, a random raccoon. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to hate the next generation, especially about technology. So perhaps it's just my unwillingness to adapt or change. And yeah, we do. Like, every generation looks down and is like, we had it harder. We did X, Y, and Z. We did that. And instead we should be going, we just made it easier for our kids and their kids, and we did our fucking job. That's what we're supposed to do. We just need to raise them to not be little shits, to appreciate what they have, and to hopefully pass it on to theirs. That's I prefer that. So next, hearing this, I can realize that basically people are just using a new toy, and once that toy becomes boring, they will go back to their old toys because deep down it's their favorite toy. Yes, all the kids are Andy. Right now AI is Buzz Lightyear. Eventually, Buzz Lightyear and Woody are both going to become the focal points again. It's the best way to put it.
Well, I was listening though at the same time, and I'm not meaning to be a black pillar, but I was also
fuck out of us.
yeah. But I was listening to Film Threat, and you know, there are forms of medium that just generally die out, and obviously like the opera, which I enjoy some operas, you know, but that for the longest time that was the general.
Yes.
For the longest time, that was the general source of entertainment for
we're looking at Broadway.
Of people's.
Broadway and movie theaters, they're both dying, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, that's what they were saying, because that's going to lead to movie theaters. It might eventually go the way of opera, where it will always exist for like your high cultured people, like opera does. Because you know me myself, I'm very high cultured, but those things, you know, certain media die. The rate, like video killed the radio star, you know, it does happen. And so how can we adapt? You know, obviously streaming, is that going to be the new thing, or
no? Streaming is going to go away soon. There'll be something else once we get true VR, and once you can actually like, not with haptics, because haptics are ridiculously far into the future. Like AI maybe will create that for us if we put it on a mission, but haptics are hard to actually do because all the different neuro spots are different on everyone. But once AI truly not VR or even AR, augmented reality, truly becomes ubiquitous, no one's gonna. You'll watch streaming, but it'll be on Netflix. It's not gonna be on.
Yeah, I don't know if I even see that with VR, and they've been trying to make that happen for a while, and it's just, I mean, I don't think people really like it that much. I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot of kids that are truly enjoying the VR games. A lot more.
We do have an Oculus, but my kids don't really like it. I mean, they get into it for a little bit, but then they get wheezy, and you can't keep that thing in your head for hours. Like you can sit on a nice comfortable couch with a flat screen TV or go to a movie, you know. So I don't think VR is the future, but I think it is. Generative AI is probably more like you can go and say, I want to watch a movie about a bar of soap that jumps across the ocean and beats terrorists up, you know.
I think people are going to get bored of that quick.
Well, but how is that any different than anything else?
Well, that's true.
You know, I mean, we're getting bored of, you know, superhero movies now. Is that just because we're bored of them because they're not that good? Or
it's because they're fucking terrible. Superhero movies could have been good for 60 years if they would have just. It's not that they have to stick to the source material. It's that you have to make the heroes feel. If they're not like, you're never going to stick to the source material. But does that hero, the way I know it as a gatekeeping nerd, are they responding in the way that they would as their character has? And that's all they need to do. And that's why Iron Man was great, because Iron Man was acting like Iron Man. Thor was acting like Thor. Steve Rogers. And that's, as the nerds who are going to fuel it, we're like, okay, not comic book accurate, but they're doing the things that if this was a new Captain America, this is exactly what he would do for the most part. And that's all they need to do. Instead, they were like, let's put a black lesbian in there and make her the leader. It's like, no, fuck you. Like, make a cool black lesbian character, not a shit one if you're going to do that.
But genres come and go. I mean, like, what about the Westerns? They come in and out of style. You know, people do get bored with everything eventually.
Well, then that's also with the culture thing that you said. We are just an uncultured society that does not like spaghetti Westerns anymore. Spaghetti Westerns should still be the biggest fucking movies around because they're amazing. But all right,
well,
so
if you take something like The Good, Bad, and Ugly, I'm not sure a modern audience have the patience for it. And I do like it's kind of The Good, to the Bad of the movie. Ugly is kind of a long movie, but it's good. It's very good.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of that, and like, you know, I agree with you too that we do see things come and go. I just can't see images truly drawing creative like that, because there's certain skills that do leave us that we lose too, right? like a lot of the reasons why practical effects aren't there anymore is because people that were doing the practical effects in the 70s, 80s, early 90s before CG truly became a thing, those people are out of the business or dead. And this young crop doesn't know how to do the same practical effects that George Lucas and his team were doing in the 70s and things like that. So there is that lost art where drawing, you still have enough art teachers that, although they're communist, are teaching the proper way to use a stroke, are teaching the proper way to do that type of stuff in these schools. And if you care to do that, or online on YouTube, you can find out what proper paints to use. So I think the actual drawing side of it, there'll always be a war as technology gets better and better, but there is still always going to be a need for the artist to be conceptual. Just like for you as an author, AI is not going to be able to draw up a novel as good as you. They could do something that regurgitates, but they won't have that same feeling because they can't understand human interaction and how it's supposed to be. So real quick, Random fucking Raccoon asked, did you hear about the new headset that Valve is creating? And they continue, it's supposedly going to advance the way VR is actually going to work. So I'm willing to give Valve the benefit of the doubt because they've been fantastic with Steam and everything they've done, all their games. But it's a wait and see, right? It's a wait.
I have been playing Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus, and that is
How
kind
is
of
it?
it's actually amazing to play. It's like really cool to just look around and whatnot. And you kind of get a little bit more of a workout too while you're playing it.
I could imagine. Fuck yeah.
and
Do they have Dead
so-
Space on the Oculus yet?
I have no idea on that. I just know I just saw Resident Evil 4 was it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go in through it with my middle son.
That's awesome.
You know, it's like because he's more of the video game guy. He's really good. Like he can crush it at Fortnite and stuff. Like
If they have Dead Space, go get that. Because if you like any of those scary-ish games, man, Dead Space. I watched my brother because he's 8 years younger than me, but he usually watched me play. But Dead Space was his thing, and so were BioShock. So I was the one that was just sometimes it's cool to just hang out and watch a good player play a video game. It's why Twitch became popular. But I was watching him, and I remember we used to same thing at Resident Evil. You turn all the lights off, and you just play in the dark because you want that scariness. You want that to happen. Man, Dead Space. I don't know how many fucking times we jumped. It was like motherfucking like it was wild. So I want to keep going with the last of these few here that we have, and then we'll jump back in. And random fucking raccoon. Thank you. Really good conversation there about that. Orbital Reef, Blue Origin, which is Bezos, and Sierra Space, a commercial space station for research, tourism, and industry, expected to be operational in the late 2020s. So that's another one getting up there. So what are we up to, Roland? We're up to 5 so far. And then there's key players and goals, blah, blah, blah. There was another one, a Chinese one that they gave me before. There's another space station from China already up there now. Hold on, let me see. Chinese. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that.
I'm just wondering. I'm also wondering how wars in space in the future might be a thing, like people fighting for controls of satellites. You know,
well, you know what's crazy? It's like, was Ronald Reagan that far off with Star Wars when he was like, let's get a fucking laser inside orbit, we could shoot everyone? It's like, is he really? Were we never not working on that? Like, is that something like, obviously Trump made Space Force, right? And there's 2 reasons. Either war is going to start in space, and that's how we're going to fight. We're going to just shoot each other from space, or aliens are coming and he wanted to create a fucking buffer. Those are my only 2 options. I kind of like the aliens, just come and end it all. But
I'm not an alien guy, so.
Oh, I can't believe that we are alone. I don't think it's possible.
And I totally believe we're completely alone.
My thing is, every star you see is a galaxy, and every galaxy has billions of planets.
Okay, so if it was millions, it would be less likely?
Yeah.
My son's calling me real quick. Hold on.
Fine. Yep, go ahead. So real quick right here, we have China Space Station. I looked it up real quick. The Tiangong, meaning heavenly place, is a modular, permanently crewed station in low Earth orbit, completed in 2022 with its core module, Tianhe, and 2 lab modules, Wentian and Mengtian, serving as a modern, efficient platform for scientific research, hosting crews for 6-month stays and representing China's independent human spaceflight capability as a counterpart to the International Space Station. So they said, fuck the ISS. We're going to go do it on our own. And I thought that this was interesting. So just that right there, we are looking to have 6 things of space dust hanging out. So I think it's wild. I also think it's cool that we're trying to do those types of things, but definitely wild. So I'll get to a few more comments here. Nate G. There will be a demand for the artist. When I used to buy comics, I'd buy from my favorite artists as much as my favorite writers. Absolutely. Absolutely. You do want to have that. The art styles matter. And again, me being someone who likes more anime and manga, that also makes a big difference because the people typically in that medium are drawing plus creating the story. So that medium's massive. If you don't like the artwork, you're not going to be a big fan of the actual piece. If the artwork gets to you, and you're not going to like it. Random fucking raccoon. Instead of using trackers, they're actually intending to use space awareness via different technology rather than trackers and controllers and headset. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. And he says, I've seen a Linus Tech tips on it, but overall, like you said, it's a wait and see type of thing. Rollin, everything good?
Yeah, my sons, they were just locked out of the house. So I had to unlock the door for them.
Just keep it locked. Keep it locked. Tell them to go kick rocks. No, but that, but yeah, no. So we'll wait and see there. So outside of that, I had one more thing I wanted to get to, Rollin, if you want to hang out anymore.
Yeah, no, totally.
So Nate saying, by the way, sad day for USA Hockey. Billy Guerin should be fired for malpractice. I mean, Rollin, I know you don't pay attention. Nate, maybe one day you can come on and we could
That's
talk
what
about
I pay attention to right here.
your Denver. You should. They're really good this year. They have a chance at winning it all. They really do.
I hope so.
But Nate, maybe you, my buddy, you've seen him come on. You both have Matt Santos. He's a big hockey guy. Maybe we can come on and we can rant and rave about what the fuck Team USA just did. They don't want to win the Olympics. But all right. So last thing I want to do here is I want to talk about something which I've intended on talking about, but I have not talked about yet. And this has been going on now for months. But let's see. Am I organized here? No, I'm never organized. Boom, boom. The Apple Digital ID. Now, if you look at the date, introduced on the 12th of last year. So it's been a long time. But this is something that I don't think gets enough pub. Okay? Mostly because Apple people are just like, oh, consume. Give me more Apple stuff. Now, I don't know if you're an Apple guy. I'm an Android guy. But
I'm a whatever I can get for as cheap as possible guy. So I have an Apple just because a foreign exchange student wanted to just get rid of his phone. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll buy it off you. So that's why I have an Apple. But
I don't like Apples. I don't like Apple products. I don't like any of that. I'm not that type of person.
I hate Mac computers.
Yeah.
I'm a PC guy.
I can't stand it. But yeah, no, Nate, we could definitely figure something out. As Rollins jumping in, and even you, random fucking raccoon, when I'm doing these Hangout streams, anyone wants to jump in and chit chat, let me know. I'll figure out a way to get you the link and we'll figure it the fuck out, because these Hangout streams are just that. I have some topics in mind. We can hang out and overall talk about whatever you guys want. As long as I'm willing to stay. I wouldn't recommend anyone else jumping on tonight, because after we talk about Apple trying to help give everyone the mark of the beast, I am going to sign off. But in the future, anyone that just wants to come hang out and shoot the shit, let's do it. I'm here for it on these Hangout streams.
Yeah, I just jumped on because basically I was home all by myself. So
there you go.
I don't have always good opportunities to do that. So,
and I appreciate, like I said, 2 times in 1 week. I feel like it's my birthday right now. So Apple back in November introduced a digital ID. So on this little mini byline here, the digital ID offers a secure and private way for users to create an ID in Apple Wallet using information from their US passport to present with their ID with iPhone and Apple Watch. And now, initially, the way this was being rolled out as well was that Apple was basically saying, and the one thing I will give Apple is, in the privacy front, they've been really, really good in terms of how they encrypt and how they consistently tell the government to fuck off when the government tries to get them to give up their user information. So this was a way to get the Apple user to dance around not having to use and upgrade their ID to the real ID, which technically now anyone that doesn't have a real ID you're out of compliance, right? Like you have to go and get the star fucking beast on your ID, which to me is crazy. I already have I have multiple federal things identifying me. I don't want another one, but this is a way for them to dance around that. So this was the announcement. Today, Apple today announced the launch of the digital ID, new way for users to create an ID in the Apple Wallet using the information from their passport and present it with the security and privacy of an iPhone and Apple Watch. Digital ID acceptance will roll out in its beta at TSA checkpoints at 250 airports. For the U.S. and in-person identity verification during domestic travel, with the additional digital ID acceptance uses cases to come in the future. So real quick, Ron, what other company besides Apple could roll something like this out with this level in terms of like national security type of implications, right? Of travel and have 250 fucking airports already on board. Like that's wild to me.
This is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but I had this thought. Where do you wear your watch? Maybe on your right hand. Where do you use your phone? On your head.
Yep.
Watch head. Isn't that the mark of the beast?
Yep. It's getting there.
Conspiracy theory. No.
I like
it. Let's see. What other company could do that?
There's very few.
Google. Which is Android.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah. Maybe if Elon wanted to get in that game with Starlink, he could maybe roll out something with Starlink users.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it, right? Like it's very rare because again, when you're working with airports, you're now working with the federal government essentially because the government has taken over all the airports. They're private, but after the government bailouts, the government does whatever the fuck they want there.
It does seem like if everybody had some kind of digital thing on them where they could just go through checkpoints and it would be like bang check, I guess that kind of is getting the mark of the beast stuff because if you had something on you, at all times you could.
It's always ease of access that gives.
I don't play around that very much, but I know I have a lot of friends who do.
Yeah.
Where they're theorizing because I heard someone say that there's something about your right hand and your forehead that make it so you could. I don't know if it's true. That's what someone told me, that if you insert it in your body could charge that device. And so,
well, it's also they've already said if you say you're trying to like lock your car and you're out of range, if you put your right hand with it on your forehead, it extends the range.
I'll have to try that sometime.
We are a battery. But let's keep going here. It says digital
I don't want
ID.
to get too conspiracy theory on that because I don't know how much I want to accept on that.
I mean, that's fun though. Conspiracies are fun.
Yes,
they're fun, especially the ones that all birds are fake.
They're fun, but when people get them too seriously, that gets a little.
Crazy. People get crazy. Yeah. And then you tell them they're fucking crazy, right? That's it. That's all you gotta do, and then you kind of tell them they're nuts and let them just go on being their way as long as it doesn't hurt.
But I just want to be nice to everybody. I don't want to tell them they're nuts. I just want to think they're nuts.
So we'll keep going here on that note. Digital ID gives more people a way to create and present an ID in Apple Wallet, even if they do not have a real ID compliant driver's license or state ID. So also that falls into a type of thing, right? Because what is this doing, Roland? If I am not a legal citizen, but I am an Apple user, I now have an ID in a digital way that is accepted for me to go and travel domestically. How long until the government just swoops right in and says, oh, that's accepted? Because if you're accepting it to go and do travel, how is that not a accepted identification? And it will be argued in court one day that an illegal person showed their Apple digital ID to a police officer and the police officer didn't accept it. And they're going to have to go through whether or not that is an acceptable form of identification.
I don't even know what a real ID is.
If you don't have it, you're out of compliance. So it was a law back in 2005 during the Patriot Act after the attacks on 9/11, where the Congress made it that by last year in May, that every single American citizen needed to get what was called a real ID, which is it puts a star on the top of your ID. And it now allows you to travel in-state domestic on flights.
So, like my driver's license, it has a little star on it. Is that
On the
what
top
it
right,
means?
that's your real ID.
Oh, okay. So then I guess I do have a real
You're
ID.
in compliance. I don't have one yet, but you could still use your passport. It's not saying you can't use your passport, but in lieu of your passport, you could just show them that.
Mhm. Yeah,
So-
I just got a passport too a little bit ago because we went to Mexico.
Nice. So yeah, you'll still need your passport for international, but to enter into a federal building or to travel domestically without your passport, you need to have a real ID. So this kind of overrides that if you're an Apple user, and that concerns me with the state ID because now, fuck me, I'm illegal. Let me go get my Apple digital ID. It works. So they say right there, digital ID is not a replacement for a physical passport and cannot be used for international travel or boarding, crossing in lieu of a U.S. passport, which real ID is the same thing. You can't go international just with your real ID. I don't know if I give a fuck about the quote from Jennifer Bailey. I don't care what they have to say. No, maybe actually right here. So they're excited now to present the identity, all with the security and privacy, blah, blah, blah. Apple's vice president. Oh, and then she goes, since introducing the ability to add a driver's license or state ID to Apple Wallet in 2022, which is terrifying to put that on my fucking digital device. I'm not going to lie. Which I don't have any of that shit. I don't use my Google Wallet. We've seen how much users love having their IDs right on their devices. Digital IDs bring this secure and convenient option to even more users across the country, as they can now add an ID to wallet using information on their passport. So again, the only saving grace of this, Rollin, is that Apple is very, 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 very secure with their users' information. And like I said, multiple times, they've told the federal government to kick rocks and other governments when they want to unencrypt the device that a user has. So
You say very, very, very secure right now.
Right now. Exactly.
Because everything devolves, everything decays. So, I mean, obviously, we rebelled just because we paid 5%, like a small amount of taxes, relatively speaking. But
or the toll tax, the Easy Pass and shit like that, and all those types of things. We hated those.
Apple as a company can decay, as well in the future.
I'll say this, out of Google and Apple, if Google rolled this out, I would be like, I'm already against this, but I might be going and like with torches walking around, because Google doesn't give a fuck. They work with the government directly all the time. And if you did that with Google, you'd be just giving them, the ability to sit there and close your bank accounts if they want to. All right. Because that's also what this leads to. If your ID becomes linked to the government and everything you have become linked to the government, Rollin, you hung out with that Alex guy. That Alex guy said some real bad shit against the government. Rollin, you can't buy meat this week. I'm sorry. And that's what it's going to be. Like, you'll get this shit like that. Like, your money's not good. You can only get the basics. Go get some bread and water or milk.
And whoever doesn't have the mark cannot buy nor sell.
Exactly. And that's where we are coming to. And the thing is, as I get older, you hear everyone go, well, it's just a slippery slope and it's just the crotchety conservatives. Slippery slope has been right every fucking time that conservatives have complained about it. So it's one of those things where we need to just open up to it. So this is saying how they can add it. If you want to, you can go fucking read that yourself, how they can use the Apple Wallet. Presenting digital ID in a secure and private way. So I want to read this part. So like all IDs in Apple Wallet, digital ID takes advantage of the privacy and security features already built into iPhone and Apple Watch to help protect against tampering and theft. Digital ID data is encrypted. When users create a digital ID, their passport data is stored on the device. Apple cannot see when or where users present their ID, which is bullshit, or what data was presented. I fully believe that that's bullshit. Biometric authentication using Face ID or Touch ID also ensures that only the owner of the digital ID can present it. Only the information needed for a transaction is presented, and if the user has the opportunity to review and authorize the information being presented with Face ID or Touch ID before it is shared, users do not need to unlock, show, or hand over the device to present their ID. So, and this is kind of what it would look like right there. Passport verified. Obviously, Kelly G is there. And this is just fucking weird to me, Rollin. I don't know why. Is it as weird to you that like has an official seal and everything and just it's on your phone?
I don't know. I think that's the future. Honestly, I think we're going to get rid of licenses and altogether. Print license and everything will be on a person's device.
Now, will that get away from Uh, will that get away from having state IDs then? Will we just get one United States ID period at that
No, I
point?
think you can still have state IDs, but maybe your driver's license will just be on your phone. I mean, if you really think about it, why do we even need driver's license at all? All our information is in the system, right? In the government system.
Yeah.
And it's like if a cop wanted to pull you over, why do you need to show them the driver's license when all your information is in the government system anyways? You just say your name, they'll look at the thing and be like, oh yeah, we see you right there.
Well, that would also see for me. I demand having my fucking driver's license in hard copy because I don't want them walking up with a fucking tablet and taking a picture of me and seeing if it matches in their database. Because for me, my picture is me with a buzz cut. I look completely different than what I look like now with my long hair. So if they were to just go in the system, they would have to come and fucking verify me. Kick rocks. Here's my card, has my name, my address, everything, my number. That's my information. Go away.
But how does your Apple phone, when you look at it, you go look at your face, like it can recognize me with or without a beard?
That's true.
You know, and why wouldn't the cops be able to do their little tee? I mean, I wonder if it's just going to be a matter of time before. I think it's the wave of the future too. That it's just we're going to get rid of cash, which I don't think is a good idea, but I think it's going to happen.
We need to.
But I think it's going to happen one day. So, I mean,
I agree. Seriously, I agree with you, but I also think we still need to fucking fight. Every single chance we can, we need to slow it down and fight against it. Because even though it's like, all right, we're all going to get slaughtered in the future. Let's just go walk over and get it done with. Right? No, you fight against that, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
I don't disagree. I'm saying it's like,
yeah, it's tough. So Coach Muttering Jay, I've never seen you around here. Hello. Who the fuck are these dirty rascals? Well, hi, I'm Alex. I am the host of the show. And that right there is Rollin Winger. He is also Caveat Ties, who is usually in the chat, but had some time to come hang out. So hi, Coach Muttering Jay. Come hang out. Listen to these fucking dirty rascals talk about some dumb shit, which we're actually going to be signing off soon. But overall, I just think that anytime I see these digital IDs, I fought against it when they wanted to do the little vaccine IDs during COVID, the digital vaccine IDs. Anytime I see the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, anytime I see this type of stuff, I'm going to try and call it out because I think we need more people to not just even make it a joke but just to legitimately call it out, talk about why it's bad, and hopefully get some people who don't just want the luxury and the ease, but ultimately we always lose to luxury and ease. That's it. We are fucked with that. So outside of that, Rollin, do you have anything else that you want to talk about or add?
No, I think I'm good. My kids just got home. Oldest driving, whatnot.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
So I'll say this. So one thing that's been going on, and Rollin, I'm gonna put some people behind the apron here of what goes on. So lately, what we've been doing is at the end of the shows, I've been throwing up the title screen because what we found is when I just clicked end stream, for whatever reason, Restream has been cutting us off a lot. Mm-hmm. So I throw up the title screen, I mute us all, and then I hang out. A lot of my guests, I haven't been telling you guys that I do that at the end. So you all just kind of fucking dip out. And for me,
like the last time you dipped out, I was there's nothing there. So I was like, oh, I guess he's done.
And I'm just hanging out in the background and then come back in. But it's just funny. So maybe I should start telling you guys I'm going to do that. You think I should? Do you think I'll be smart, Ron?
I think so. Like I said, I'm new to it. So I don't know if I'm the
No. It's been happening lately on this show and my other show, Talking in Ovals, the track and field show. And I just think I need to be a better host and inform them hey, it's going to go black for a while. I promise you, we will be back. So that's going to happen real quick. Before we go, random fucking raccoon saying this is going to sound selfish, but I just want to appreciate that the world won't go to complete shit in my lifetime. And I'll say this, random fucking raccoon.
Don't be so confident.
No, here's the thing. It won't. Because every single generation doomsdays. Every single generation has oh, it's going to end on our time. This is the worst thing ever. You don't think the fucking people living through the Cold War with the nuclear missile crisis did not firmly believe that it was going to all end every single day, when they were hiding under desks as kids, when there was a fucking Russian nuclear boat off the coast of Cuba on our shore? Like, they were sure they were all going to be fucking dead in a nuclear winter. Every generation has their reason for why shit's going to end. Because again, humans need to be in control. We need to be the cause. We need to know everything. So when you just come with that realization of knowing that shit is that bad, but it really isn't as bad as we all think it is. It's kind of that.
Yes, definitely.
So when you realize that, we are still just ants in the fucking anthill on the planet. History will continue when we are all dead. Okay? Your kids will have their own struggles. Their kids will have their own struggles. Every single generation has their own struggles. Will the human race someday come to an end? Absolutely. Will the United States someday fucking come to an end? Absolutely. We are already by leaps and bounds the longest living constitutional republic. We shouldn't have made it this far. 250 years is, I think, like 20 times the longest normally. So all this shit will eventually come to an end. If it comes to an end in our time, we'll do what humans do. We will figure it the fuck out, okay? That's just what we do. And either we'll rise up and be people that fight and at least maintain some sort of world power, or we'll fucking lose. And there's nothing we could do about it. But bottom line is, don't doom, because every single generation believes the world is going to end. Our way of life is going to end on our watch. And it's okay to watchdog, to talk about it, to try and make it better. But man, don't let it consume you. Just enjoy yourself. Be an artist. Make the best fucking art you can. Share it with us, because I'd love to see it. I love seeing artwork, good artwork and stuff like that. Share it with us. And if you have things that you're trying to sell or do like that, absolutely. Well, I'll talk about it and stuff. So outside of that, that's my advice. Rollin, you got any advice?
Well, I guess ultimately God is in control too. He's sovereign. So.
Yes. I think that's the best way to end this. God is in control. So I just want to thank everyone for watching. Rollin, thanks for jumping on, brother. I appreciate you coming over, that you had the time to spare. I look forward to, in the future, when you have spare time again, you just jumping on. It's a lot better than hearing my dumbass just talk. So people enjoy having that. But outside of that, everyone, thank you. For anyone that was new, Muttering J, Random Fucking Raccoon, would love for you guys to jump in, subscribe. I pop in and just stream. Rollin knows I've been jumping on much more lately. So I'm going to try and continue to do that. Try and stream whenever I can in my spare time. The only day that's like a definite no is Mondays. I do my other podcast. And if that podcast show switches, I'll say fuck those other days. That podcast does take precedent on those days because it's once a week. But outside of that, I'll see everyone later. Rollin, I will definitely catch you in the chat in the future. And I don't know, maybe I'll stream tomorrow or something. We'll fucking see. So everyone, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We are signing off. So long, y'all.